What if everything I've built means nothing in the end? William Harrison whispered, his voice trembling, but fierce as he stared out at the city lights fading into the storm. The man who once ruled the skyline with towering skyscrapers now found himself crumbling beneath the weight of a life spent chasing power, only to face the cold, unyielding truth of his own mortality. His breath came in shallow gasps, each one a reminder that time was slipping through his fingers like sand. Alone in his massive silent estate, William wrestled with a question more terrifying than death itself could love really save him and the four girls he had pulled from the shadows of the street. This wasn't just a story about a dying man or lost children. It was a story about hope, desperation, and a fight against every impossible odds. It was about the choices that define us when there's nothing left to lose. Stay with me, because what happens next will shock you to your core and challenge everything you thought you knew about family sacrifice and redemption. William Harrison knew his time was running out. The doctors didn't sugarcoat it: idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis, terminal stage. Each breath was a battle, each cough a painful reminder that the clock was ticking. His sprawling New York City penthouse, once filled with the hum of business calls and endless meetings, now felt like a mausoleum, cold, silent, and empty. That night, a relentless rain hammered the city streets, the kind of storm that blurred the neon lights into streaks of color against the dark sky. William sat in the back of his black Rolls-Royce, the soft hiss of his oxygen concentrator, the only sound breaking the eerie quiet. His loyal driver, James, had been with him for over 3 decades, but even James's steady hands couldn't calm the ache in William's chest. "Sir, the humidity is dangerously high," warned his nurse Elizabeth, a woman who had been his guardian angel through his slow decline. "You shouldn't be out in this weather." William's raspy voice cut through the tension. "What difference does it make now, Liz? The end is inevitable." He coughed violently, clutching his chest as the pain shot through him. "Keep driving, James. I need to see something. Someone." James hesitated but obeyed silently. William had spent a lifetime building his empire glass towers that pierced the sky, investments that shaped skylines. Yet none of it mattered now. No children awaited him, no legacy beyond cold concrete and distant memories. His late wife Elizabeth, sharing the same name as his nurse, had passed before they saw their dreams realized. And fate, with cruel irony, had denied him heirs. His heart heavy with regret, William gazed out into the storm-soaked city. That's when he saw them. 4 small figures huddled beneath the awning of a luxury boutique, their soaked golden hair plastered to pale faces. Identical in every way, the girls pressed together for warmth, one thin arm stretched out, holding a tattered plastic tarp over their heads, a flimsy shield against the cold rain. William's breath caught. The smallest of the 4 whimpered softly, a sound so fragile it cut through his fog of despair and lodged deep in his chest. He remembered himself at 8 years old, shivering alone in the cold corner of an orphanage, wondering if morning would ever come. But these were 4 little souls fighting for survival, multiplied misery and hope in equal measure. "Stop the car," William ordered, voice shaking yet unwavering. Elizabeth turned, alarm etched on her face. "William, you can't. The cold, the rain, I'm dying, Liz. Nothing left to lose. Not safety, not time. Just this moment." James pulled the car to a quiet curb near the girls. The 4 children shrank back as the luxury vehicle's headlights bathed them in unnatural light. Their leader, a girl named Sophia, lifted her chin defiantly, blue eyes sharp and wary. William steadied himself with his silver cane, battling every labored breath as he stepped into the storm. The icy rain struck him like a blow, and a harsh coughing fit nearly doubled him over. But he straightened, determination burning brighter than the pain. He approached the girls carefully, his voice soft. "Hello." Sophia's voice was steady despite the chill. "We have nothing to give you. Please just leave." William's heart broke at her wary words, the streetwise wisdom behind them. "I'm not here to take anything. I want to offer you something." He looked into their faces, Sophia's fierce gaze, Julia's flicker of hope, Laura's fragile warmth, and little Bee trembling in the shadows. "I want to invite you to dinner," he said quietly. "My house is empty and silent. I hate eating alone." For a long moment the girls hesitated. It was a dangerous world, and no one invited the homeless in for free. But Sophia glanced at her sisters, the purple lips of Bea, the shivering body of Laura, the comfort Julia found clinging close, and made the hardest choice of her young life. She nodded. Inside the car, wrapped in thick blankets, Elizabeth and James provided the girls were silent, overwhelmed by the warmth, the softness, the unfamiliar luxury. The gates of the Harrison estate opened like the pages of a fairy tale, revealing a mansion glowing defiantly against the storm. The housekeeper, Mrs. Evelyn, greeted them with restrained surprise but quickly followed William's orders: prepare warm baths, soft robes, and a feast fit for a celebration, spaghetti roast chicken fries, and all the chocolate ice cream the freezer held. At the mahogany dining table designed for 20, the four girls giggled and fought playfully over the last pieces of chicken. Their laughter, like a bright flame, filled the silent house, stirring something long buried in William's chest. Later, as the girls huddled together on a patchwork of beds in the guest suite, William watched them sleep, their peaceful faces illuminated by the soft glow of a lamp. Four little angels who had come into his life like a storm, and maybe, just maybe, had brought him back from the edge. But the night was unforgiving. A violent coughing fit nearly crushed William, his body trembling with weakness. Elizabeth rushed to his side, worry etched deep in her eyes. He was running out of time, and as he lay back against the cold sheets, a terrible question gnawed at him. Who would protect these girls when he was gone? I realize this is only the beginning of a deeply moving journey. What would you do if you were in William's shoes, face your own mortality, and make a life-changing choice for strangers? Please share your thoughts below. Where the fight to build a family and protect it begins. If this story touched you, don't forget to hit that like button and send some love. Your support means everything and helps bring these stories to life. As dawn crept over the city, the storm outside had faded, but inside the Harrison estate, a new tempest was quietly brewing. William's grand home, once a fortress of solitude, now echoed with the tentative footsteps of four little girls who were slowly weaving their fragile threads of trust into the fabric of his life. Yet beneath the surface shadows lurked threats that would test the very limits of William's will and the strength of this unlikely family. Sophia, the oldest and fiercest protector of the group, sat by the window in the sunlit drawing room, her gaze sharp as she watched the world beyond. She wasn't just a child anymore. The weight of responsibility pressed on her slender shoulders like a relentless tide. The mansion was foreign to her, every luxury a strange new language she was struggling to decode. But more troubling was the looming threat. She sensed a danger, not from outside storms, but from within the family's own bloodline. William's health was fragile, his breath shallow and uneven. Yet his spirit had ignited with a fierce purpose to give these girls a future no one had ever given him. In his pale hands, he clutched the delicate trust of these children who had no one else to call family. But the world outside didn't share his vision. His nephew, Victor Harrison, a man as ruthless as he was greedy, had learned of the new family and viewed them as nothing more than obstacles on his path to the Harrison fortune. Victor's arrival was like a cold gust of winter air that swept through the estate uninvited. His smile was a thin veil masking contempt as he stood on the manicured lawn, eyes flickering over the four girls playing quietly under Elizabeth's watchful eye. "Well, well," he drawled with false warmth. "I hear Uncle Bill's taken in a few street urchins. How charitable of you." His gaze sharpened. "But charity won't stop me from claiming what's rightfully mine." William, weak but unwavering, met his nephew's challenge. "They are my family, Victor, and I won't let you threaten that." Each word was a painful effort, lungs burning with the strain. Victor's sneer only deepened the stakes clear. This was no longer a battle of hearts, but a ruthless war for control. Sophia's protective instincts flared. She stood by her sisters like a lioness, ready to defend her cubs, but even she couldn't prepare for the onslaught ahead. Victor's lawyers began chipping away at William's rights, brandishing legal documents and casting doubt on the legitimacy of his claim. They questioned the girls' background, their lack of documentation, and William's ability to care for them, given his deteriorating condition. In the quiet moments between court dates and hospital visits, William wrestled with a crushing dilemma. Each breath was a gift, but how much longer could he fight? And if he fell, what fate awaited the girls he'd come to love more than anything? His nights were haunted by shadows of doubt. Was he being selfish, Could he give them the childhood they deserved? Or was he condemning them to further loss by clinging to a hope he could no longer sustain Elizabeth? Ever his anchor urged him to hold on, reminding him that love often means fighting, even when the odds are insurmountable. Then came the moment that changed everything, a fragile miracle born from the silence of a little girl named Bee. For months, Bee had been a quiet presence, her blue eyes wide with a wisdom that seemed beyond her years. She rarely spoke, as if guarding a secret too heavy for words. One tense evening in the hospital, as William lay close to surrender, Bee crawled onto his lap and whispered a single word: "Daddy." The room fell silent, breaths held, eyes fixed on the monitors. And then, against every expectation, the heart monitor, which had been flat moments before, flickered to life. A weak but steady rhythm pulsed across the screen. The doctors exchanged stunned glances, disbelief etched in their faces. William's eyes fluttered open, confusion, giving way to recognition as he saw the four girls surrounding him, their hands clutching his like lifelines. A new fire ignited within him, hope fierce and unyielding. With this spark came a surge of determination. Despite the legal battles, the ticking clock of his illness, William vowed to fight with every ounce of strength to keep his family intact. But fate had yet another twist. The very next day, with William awake and defying the odds, he was called to testify via video in the courtroom. The sterile room was filled with tension as he appeared on the screen, pale, frail, but resolute. "Your Honor," William began, voice steady despite the tremor beneath. "I am aware of the gravity of this moment. These girls aren't just wards or charity cases. They saved me as much as I saved them. Without them, I have no fight left. They are my family and I am theirs." The courtroom was silent, the judge's gaze lingering on the unlikely family framed behind William on the screen. The girls holding hands looked back with hopeful eyes. Victor's attorneys scoffed, but the tide had turned. William's heartfelt testimony pierced through legal jargon and cold facts, reaching something deeper in everyone present. Behind the scenes, Elizabeth and Robert Bennett, William's steadfast lawyer, worked tirelessly to fortify their case-gathering evidence, not just of care, but of genuine, unbreakable bonds. The battle was far from over. The legal system, slow and unforgiving, loomed like an insurmountable mountain. Yet for William, every courtroom challenge, every exhausting day, was a chance to carve out a sanctuary where these girls could finally call home. Sophia, Julia, Laura, and Bee weren't just survivors, they were warriors. Each day, their presence breathed life back into William, rekindling a family spirit that neither time nor sickness could extinguish. As night fell over the Harrison estate, William stared out into the city's sparkling skyline, a silent promise on his lips. No matter the cost, no matter the fight ahead, he would stand tall for this family, for love, for hope, for the future. I'm truly grateful for your patience as this story unfolds. What would you fight hardest for if everything you loved was at risk? Share your thoughts below your voices, make this journey richer. If this story has moved you, please like and send your support. Your kindness fuels the heart of every story told here. As the courtroom drama settled into tense silence, a new chapter unfolded at the Harrison estate. William's fragile but steady heartbeat had become a symbol of defiance, a testament to the miraculous power of love, resilience, and the human spirit. But beyond the legal victories and medical wonders, a deeper transformation was taking place. 4 lost souls were becoming a true family, healing wounds that went far beyond what any fortune could buy. The once quiet halls of the estate now echoed with laughter, whispered secrets, and the energetic footsteps of Sophia, Julia, Laura, and Bee. The girls, once wary and guarded, blossomed under William's gentle care and unwavering love. Sophia's fierce protectiveness softened into joyous leadership. Julia's sketchbooks overflowed with vivid colors reflecting newfound hope. Laura's optimism became contagious, and Bee's silence gave way to a voice filled with wonder and warmth. William's days were no longer marked by business meetings or financial reports, but by bedtime stories, school projects, and shared dreams. He discovered a joy that had eluded him for decades, the simple, profound happiness of belonging. Each smile from the girls was a balm for his worn heart, every moment together a precious gift. But the true miracle went deeper than joy. It was a healing of the soul and body alike. Doctors, baffled and amazed, confirmed what no one had dared to hope. William's disease was not only halted, it was reversing. Scans showed the once rigid scars in his lungs, softening a medical anomaly that defied explanation. "It's like your body remembered how to heal," Dr. Ian Collins explained one afternoon, eyes wide with wonder. "There's no scientific precedent for this. It's as if the love and purpose you found with these girls triggered something profound inside you." William smiled weakly, knowing the truth lay not in machines or medicines, but in the unbreakable bonds forged through hardship and compassion. In the months that followed, William and his daughters poured their hearts into building something lasting. Together with Elizabeth and Robert Bennett, they established the Harrison Foundation, a visionary project to create nurturing homes for children like Sophia Julia, Laura, and Bea. Not cold institutions, but warm, loving families where every child could find safety, dignity, and a chance to dream. Sophia's voice guided discussions about what made a house truly a home: privacy, sunlight, a garden to plant roots. Julia insisted on spaces for creativity. Laura wanted rooms filled with laughter and friendship. Bea, once silent, insisted on kindness and patience above all else. Their ideas reshaped the foundation's mission. It became more than charity, it was a movement to restore hope, to give children not just shelter but a family. Meanwhile, Victor Harrison's world crumbled. The courtroom losses, public exposure of his ruthless schemes, and isolation from former allies left him stripped of power. Desperation drove him to the estate's doorstep one cold evening, seeking help from the uncle he had once scorned. William received him not with anger, but with quiet dignity. "I won't give you money to fund your failures," William said calmly over coffee in the kitchen, "but I'll offer you this: learn what it means to care, to build, to love. Maybe that's the legacy you need to start creating." Victor left humbled, a broken man, while the estate blossomed with life and promise. One crisp winter morning, the estate's garden transformed into a winter wonderland, snow cannons blanketing the grounds, lights shimmering like northern stars. The girls woke to a magical scene, their squeals of delight piercing the cold air as they made snow angels and built a clumsy snowman. William watched oxygen tank quietly humming nearby, his heart fuller than it had been in years. The simple moments, laughter, warmth, family, had become his greatest triumph. Through every challenge, every dark night, they had created a sanctuary of love that no illness or adversity could destroy. And as the sun set on their journey, William knew the greatest inheritance he could leave was not skyscrapers or stocks, but a family fierce, unyielding, and bound by a love that could heal even the deepest wounds. This story reminds us of the extraordinary power of love and resilience. Have you ever witnessed or experienced a moment where love truly changed everything? What would family mean to you in the face of life's greatest challenges? I'd love to hear your thoughts. If this story touched your heart, please comment below, type number 3. If you loved it, number 1. If you think it could be better, and number 2. If you feel it was just okay. Also, let me know where you're watching from. It's amazing to connect with viewers worldwide. Don't forget to like, share, and send your support. Your kindness brings these stories to life. Thank you for being part of this journey.